And we're
Thank you.
good.
So I see us on record. Good afternoon, Mark Scheipmeyer, the city's hearing examiner. I've been asked to convene a public hearing to receive testimony in reference to an application by the city to a rezone property located at 179 First Avenue Southeast from community facilities CF-F to cultural and business district CBD. In advance of today's hearing, I've received the staff report whose author is not clear. It doesn't identify an author, but I reviewed that report in its entirety as well as the other documentation provided from the city, and I'm familiar with the request being made. This is the one exception to the role of the hearing examiner, where normally I am asked to make decisions of one kind or another. In this case, I am not being asked to make a decision, but instead being asked to make a recommendation, as this type of decision is ultimately decided upon by the city council after it has received my recommendation, something that I'm asked to do in a number of cities, including Issaquah. And so I am familiar with that recommendation process. The purpose of today's hearing is to receive, well, it's basically threefold. It's to hear from city staff adding or explaining the nature of the application and its recommendations, followed by the applicant, who is one and the same, to then provide any additional comment, and then for the public to be heard. It's not clear if there are members of the public wishing to be heard on this matter. We'll come to that in a minute. It would not entirely surprise me if we have limited public input into this application, but we'll find that out as we go along. So again, the hearing will begin with presentation by planning staff, followed then by opportunities for others to respond. All those who do testify today, including city staff, will do so under oath. Who then today will be the spokesperson for the planning department?
I will be Emily Medina, senior planner.
Okay, great. And I see that you are also the author of the SEPA determination.
Correct.
Okay. Ms. Medina, let's have you sworn. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. It's not clear from the staff report if this matter has a case number, but the SEPA determination identifies a number as RZ 25-000. Oh, okay. Here, you brought up your PowerPoint, which shows it as hearing number RZ 25-00001. So I'll reference that number in all documents. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So again, I'm Emily Medina. I'm the staff planner for this project, which is RZ 25-0001, the food bank rezone. And we are here today to get that application. So this is considered a site-specific rezone, which we have our code section in the Issaquah Municipal Code 18216, which allows the property owner or authorized agent to request the rezone. It's a level 5 process, so public hearing by the hearing examiner, as we're doing today, makes the recommendation to city council, and then council is the final decision maker. So a little background on what this project is. It's located at 179 First Avenue Southeast. The existing land use is community facilities, and then it has a corresponding existing zoning of community facilities, which is abbreviated as CF. The use on site is the Issaquah Food and Clothing Bank, and it was owned by the city of Issaquah until June 2025 when it was sold to the food bank. The proposal is to rezone to CBD, Cultural and Business District, with the associated land use change to retail. You can see on the vicinity map there, the property is highlighted in blue. For both the zoning and the land use, it is similar to the surrounding. So the standards and criteria associated with this include that there is no changes to the applicable development standards. This is supported by the comprehensive plan policies. The approval criteria in IMC 18216050, which I referenced before as the site-specific rezone criteria, have been met. The zoning to the north and west is CBD, so this is not a spot zone. It has the intended zoning designation adjacent to it. And then the intent of our CFF zone in the city is for publicly owned or in some cases, some specific HOA parcels. But this is now a privately owned entity, so it no longer meets the intent of the code to be zoned CFF since it's no longer owned by the city. So due to meeting all the criteria, the intent of the zone in the code, and the general purpose of what we're after here to match our surrounding zoning, not create any spot zoning, and to have our CFF zone represent publicly owned properties. The staff recommendation would be approval of the rezone, but with the following condition, which is the decision to approve the rezone shall be conditioned upon approval of the comprehensive plan amendment by the city council. That is the end of my presentation. Do you have any questions for me?
I do not. Your materials are straightforward, as is your presentation today. I don't have any, well, it might typically have a number. In this case, I don't have any, but I would like to receive your PowerPoint presentation. I'll identify it as Exhibit 2, Exhibit 1 being the staff report and its attachments. And so, Ms. Medina, at the conclusion of the hearing, you can send me a copy of the PowerPoint presentation. I'll recognize it as a document. And are you, do you speak on behalf of all aspects of the city, or am I to anticipate anyone else speaking on any other department or any other portion of the city?
Jeannie Justice is here, who is the applicant. I don't believe the applicant has prepared a presentation, but I would just let it open to her if she had anything she wanted to add.
When you refer to her as the applicant, is she with the food bank then?
She is with our facilities department, so that's who
okay.
we used to operate, or since we used to own the land.
Okay, all right. Because again, it's a little vague as to the applicant. Whether it's the city or the food bank. So let's just find out from Ms. Justice. Ms. Justice, on behalf of the facilities department, anything you wish to add or subtract from the testimony of Ms. Medina?
No, the only thing I would add was this was part of a surplus process that the city council went through to determine that this parcel was not needed by the city and thus could be disposed of. And thus we sold it to the food bank, and this rezone and comprehensive plan amendment is part of that, kind of finishing that process to allow the food bank then to, you know, have the correct zoning for that parcel because they are not city.
I understand. Okay, thank you. Would that then conclude the city's presentation, Ms. Medina?
Yes.
Okay. Are we to anticipate hearing from the food bank? Do you believe them to be present and wishing to give testimony?
They are present. Do you like to give testimony?
Hi, my name is Eric Olliner, OLI.
Okay, let me slow you down. Eric with a C?
C.
And I could not hear the last name, I'm sorry.
Olliner, spelled Oliner.
Okay. Mr. Olliner, your position with food bank?
I'm a board member.
Board member? Okay. Every so often, your testimony fades out. And so it may be just you're perhaps turning away from the microphone. I'm not certain. But I'll if I can have you focus on speaking toward whatever the microphone device is in the room, just to make sure that I'm catching everything that you have to say. So let's first have you sworn. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You've heard the testimony of the various city departments seeking approval of this rezone. What would be the food bank's response to that?
The food bank is 100% in favor of the rezone. It will allow us to move forward with our plans for renovating and expanding the food bank, which is a necessity in terms of providing community services.
Okay. And as opposed to any other potential zoning designation, do you feel that the requested one is the most appropriate?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And in this testimony, are you speaking both on your own, in your own personal position as well as a board member?
It's certainly my personal position, and I believe I represent the feelings and decisions that have already been made by the food bank's board and executive director.
Okay. Suffice to say that it's not inconsistent with any of the board's actions or other actions.
It is not.
Okay. All right. Anything else that you would like to add?
No, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Having heard from the city staff as well as the property owner, let's turn now to the public testimony phase of this. If staff could advise me as to whether there are any members of the public who are present today. I'm not sure if that's Carolyn's call or Emily's. Could one of you advise me as to whether you show any members of the public present?
There are no members of the public present other than Eric, and I don't see anybody online.
Okay. Very well. Decisions before the hearing examiner range from the really hard to the really easy, and this hits the really easy scale. So I can't see any reason to not recommend approval of the requested rezoning subject to the condition noted by staff. Again, noting that this is a recommendation, not a decision. I understand that my recommendation needs to be gotten back to the city so that it can be presented as part of the package to city council to make a final determination on this. Recognizing that, I will attend to this as soon as I can so that I'm not holding up the process. I'll do that as quickly as possible. I do have this morning's hearing that I'll need to attend to first, and that will take a little time, but that once I'm have that out of the way, I'll then promptly deal with this. So I hope to have that back to the city within just relatively few days' time in a written format. Again, if the city can provide me with its PowerPoint presentation as soon as we're done so that I can incorporate that into my process, that'd be great. Otherwise, I'll get underway with this and have something back to the city as soon as I can. Mr. Allender or Ms. Bedita or anyone else, do you have any questions about that?
I do not.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, I do want to thank everybody for being present today. Again, some hearings are a bit more complicated than others. This is not, but nonetheless important to make certain that sometimes it's to hear what comments there are. Sometimes it's important to confirm that there aren't comments and that applications are without any sort of resistance or opposition. And it's clearly the case in this instance. So I'll prepare an order or a recommendation accordingly and have that back to the city as quickly as I can. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.